Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining, thanks for subscribing if you are going to subscribe. If you like this kind of video, please consider doing so. So yeah, putting the paint where it belongs, that is the whole idea behind this. Righty, we're coming to the end of this monumental tutorial, and I'm going to just put my first coat of sealing varnish on. So I've got a nice little sponge brush. I'm just going to put one coat on, and I'll do it in little sections. As you can see, I do it in about 4 sections or so. The idea behind this is to seal the delicate airbrush work and give us a bit of leeway when I paint the hair in. I can always wipe it off without the fear of damaging any airbrush or removing any airbrush paint. So just going to seal this, let it dry overnight. So I'm just going to Scotch-Brite that to give it some tooth, and come with my thin paint and attempt to paint the hairs in. And always keep a wet rag, a damp rag with you, because you will definitely need that if you attempt this, unless you're very skilled, and I'm not that skilled, so you'll see I make quite a few mistakes. So I'm just going to start here in the corner with a short piece, and I'm using quite a weird brush because it can paint very thin lines but hold quite a bit of paint. I did try various methods of doing this. I tried airbrushing it, but I wasn't steady enough. And the pencil lines you see are of course now under the varnish. So at this point I have no choice but to paint them there, and we are going to finally sort this fat lip out. The big mistake, but it'll be all good. On the screen on the phone you can actually see the reference photo, and you can see where I'm looking at, what I'm busy doing. And there's a lot of hair here, so lots of time to put all the little strokes in and get it nice and smooth. And the paint is very thin. I'm going to show you just now how thin the paint actually is, but the reason for this is so that it flows nicely and gives us opportunity to fix any mistakes that we might make along the way. And I make quite a few, but I've left them in the video so that you can also see how we fix those as we go. So that sealing varnish there is highly important in this sort of painting, because you definitely don't want to have any risk of wiping off your beautiful airbrush work. You can see by the arrow how thin this paint actually is. You can see there on the corner. So it's very thin, it'll flow very nicely, and it's just the right consistency to pull these lines. And I'm using my whole body here to try and get this as smooth and as even as I can, resting my one pinky finger on the painting so that the brush doesn't go up and down in height, and I get a nice smooth flow. So here, just testing the arc, am I standing in the right place? And there we go, mistake, you see. So I'll grab my damp rag, just wipe it off, no problem. Not going to damage the painting underneath, because the acrylic clear coat is obviously waterproof. Guys, don't use wood glue, homemade varnish for this, please, because you will definitely wipe that varnish right off the painting, as I learned the hard way. And here trying to attempt to rescue this hair, but because this is a clump of hairs, I don't have a problem too much with this little wobble here, because I'm going to put quite a few strands here, so it's not a key feature. Didn't like that piece anyway, so wipe it off, carry on. So there, I think there's about 10 or so strands of hair here. So I'm not really worried too much going slightly off here and there, because I'm going to build it up as I go along. The very difficult ones were the 2 or 3 single hairs that are in this photo or painting now, but we'll get to that just now. Again, using my body here to try and get this line as straight and smooth as possible. Didn't like that, wipe it off. And I try a few times until I get it right. Again, testing the arc to see if I'm going to get this right. But this is also fortunately a whole bunch of hairs, so I'm not really even worried about that little glitch there, because that'll be covered up with all the rest. So not important. Checking the reference, how thick must they be, how many. And here just blocking in a couple of hairs because this is quite a thick clump. So not too worried about individual lines. This one was quite a mission. It's a single hair, so I really wanted to take my time and get this one just right. But as you can see, that rag just doing absolute wonders. The varnish that we put on top doing its job. I have no fear of wiping anything off. I'm happy with that hair. I'm going to attempt to rescue it. And I think we managed. Just blending in there quickly. And the final hair, wobbly, wipe it off, start again. And you have a good minute to wipe this off, guys. It's not like you have to wipe it off immediately. As long as it's very fresh. There we go, we got it right. Just going to tidy up the entry point, because that hair itself is nice, I like it. And there we go. Right, now we're going to just paint some shadows in. Again, using the same paint I used for the shadows of the nose and all of that. Exactly the same color. Just starting following the reference to see there's a little bend just on the nose bridge there. So I've got to get that in. It's not just a pure curve, there's like a definite bend just there on the highlight. Those hairs look great, they just need a bit of shadow. Just to lift them off the face slightly and create that illusion of 3D-ness on a 2D painting. Guys, I think if you take your time and don't be in a rush and decide how much detail you need, then basically painting anything should be possible. I must say portraits aren't really my strong point, but without pushing yourself to the limit, to seeing what is possible, I don't think you'll ever know if you're capable of doing something like this. And as I say, I've only been painting since November 23, believe it or not. I've never painted in my life before, and my motto is just put the paint where it belongs. We're coming to finishing off here now. I'm going to put the final varnish on, 2 coats, and exactly like before, I do it in sections. And once I have a section done, I just leave it, let it settle. I don't play with it. It'll settle on its own. And this is a satin varnish, but here's an optional final step. I reduce the varnish down 50% with distilled water, always wearing a mask, and I'm going to just dust over this varnish. It's dried overnight, and this gives me an absolutely beautiful, even, matte, non-reflective finish. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series. Please comment below, just let me know what you want me to paint next. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this sort of thing. And guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.